This hot-tempered street vendor loses her sister to a serial killer and sets out on a relentless path of revenge. Let's begin. The movie opens to a busy street market where, Bok Soon, a hardworking vegetable vendor, orders a bowl of noodles she can't pay for. Instead, she offers vegetables from her stall, a small trade in her daily struggle to get by. Far away, in a gleaming office tower, a wealthy chairman dressed in expensive clothes sits in silence. His face is heavy with worry. He talks to his nephew, Ik-sang, about how the family business is falling apart. There's a problem, a young woman in the office who keeps causing trouble. He says he slapped her to warn her, but what he doesn't know is she secretly recorded everything. Now she's blackmailing him for $300,000. The chairman's voice is cold but desperate as he hands Ik-sang a bag of money. "I trust you," he says. "Get me that video back." But Ik-sang has his own plans. Instead of fixing the chairman's problem, he takes the money straight to the gangsters who are after him, using the cash to pay off his own debts. The weight of his choices hangs heavy in the air. Suddenly, a flashback takes us to the past. A young Ik-sang sits on the floor after being beaten up. His little brother Tae-soo comes up to him. "Did that monster beat you again? Want me to get rid of him?" But Ik-sang just shakes his head. "No. We can't win against him. Just leave me alone." Then, a scream cuts through the silence. Ik-sang sees his dad taking an axe coming for him. But, moments later, the man falls silent, dead. Tae-soo stands behind him, a pesticide bottle spilled on the ground. The nightmare they tried to escape has already begun. Back in the present, Tae-soo sits alone in a dark room. His hands move with strange calm as he carves pottery. Meanwhile, at the market, Bok Soon's spirit burns fiercely. When a man tries to take over her selling spot, she rushes forward arguing with him. He shoves her aside easily, but her anger flares brighter. She grabs a radish and hits him on the head, a small victory in her hard world. Later, walking home, she runs into her younger sister Eun-young coming back from school. Their bond is tender and real. Eun-young gently helps apply ointment to Bok Soon's wound. Then, Bok Soon pushes Eun-young home in a cart. Though their life is simple and full of struggle, the love between these two sisters is their true strength. One day, Tae-soo's phone buzzed. It was his older brother, Ik-sang, asking him to meet. He asked Tae-soo for help, to get back the phone with the secret recording. Ik-sang painted the girl as a bad person, someone trying to blackmail and steal money. Tae-soo just laughed quietly. "How do you want to fix this?" he asked. He was annoyed that his brother called after 5 years of silence only to ask for a favor. Suddenly, the noise from another room grew louder and Ik-sang started grumbling about it. Then, Tae-soo proceeded to shout at them, and when a man came out to confront him, Tae-soo took him and the woman inside down with ease. Ik-sang watched everything, shocked. Then, Tae-soo handed his brother a bag of cash. "Buy some tonics for mom with this," he said simply, as though nothing had happened. The next morning, in another part of the city, a landlord knocked on the door. Nari, a young girl, answered. The landlord warned that if she and her sister didn't pay soon, they'd be evicted. Inside, Nari relayed the news to her older sister, Yun-hee, the same woman who had blackmailed the chairman with the recording. Later, another knock sounded. This time, Yun-hee opened the door to find Tae-soo standing outside. He asked her for the recording. When she demanded money first, Tae-soo shook his head. "I don't have it," he said firmly. "Give me the recording." She told him to leave. But Tae-soo didn't back down. He warned her coldly, "Ignore me, and you'll regret it." Then, without hesitation, he jumped inside. Inside the house, Nari was washing dishes when she heard her sister scream from the living room. Quietly, she tiptoed to see what was happening. Tae-soo appeared and asked if they had a mother. Nari looked at him, steady and calm. "No," she said. "It's just the two of us." Her eyes flicked to the lifeless body of her sister on the floor. Later, Tae-soo called Ik-sang. He asked about the money. Ik-sang didn't hide the truth, he had kept it. "I needed it for my son's school fees," he said without shame. Tae-soo's voice grew cold. "Because of you, everything is falling apart. Come to my house to meet me." At Tae-soo's home, Nari stood trembling in the corner. Tears ran down her face, fear gripping her like a cage. Tae-soo looked at her with hard eyes and made a chilling offer, "Run away before I finish this bottle of wine. If you don't, you die. If you ask for help, the people who helps you die too." The words hung in the heavy air. How could he expect a scared girl to run? But her fear was stronger than doubt. With a desperate cry, she dashed out into the dark forest, disappearing into the night. Meanwhile, back at their simple home, Bok Soon and Eun-young sat down for dinner. Eun-young spoke with quiet hope, "I'm going to Seoul. I'll work hard and change our lives." Bok Soon begged to go with her, but Eun-young shook her head, "No. I'll stay in a tiny dorm. You can't come." Bok Soon's heart broke. I can't live without you, she pleaded. Suddenly, Eun-young's annoyance grew, and as she hit the table, food splattered across Bok-soon's face. The sisters tumbled into a fierce, messy fight, their love tangled with frustration. Just then, Nari appeared at the door. The sisters welcomed her inside and invited her to eat with them. When asked about her sister, Nari's tears fell freely. Bok-soon took her hand gently. I'll find your sister for you, she promised. The next morning, they were on their way to take Nari to the police station. But Eun-young forgot her gym clothes, so Bok-soon ran back to get them. Suddenly, Tae-soo appeared, like a shadow from a nightmare. When Bok-soon returned, she found Eun-young's school bag tossed on the ground. Screams pierced the air. Tae-soo was dragging her sister away. He strangled Eun-young, the grip of death closing tight. Just in time, Bok-soon found strength she didn't know she had. She grabbed a rock and smashed it against Tae-soo's head. He collapsed, stunned. Without hesitation, Bok-soon carried her sister through the forest, laying her gently under a tree. She ran to find help, searching for a car to rush Eun-young to a hospital. But Tae-soo found her again. This time, there was no rescue. When Bok-soon returned with the police, her sister was gone. Tears blurred her vision as she tried to tell the officer what happened. But the officer only scoffed, telling Bok-soon her sister probably ran away. If she doesn't come back by tomorrow, we'll file a missing person report, he said coldly. Bok-soon stood there, broken and helpless, but her fight had just begun. Back in the city, Ik-sang went straight to the gangster, asking him to send a man for protection. The gangster warned, this guy's got a loose screw, but he fights like a beast. Ik-sang, afraid of his own brother, hired the fighter, handing over the cash Tae-soo had given him for their mom. He told the man to step in only if things went wrong. Later, Ik-sang visited Tae-soo's house. Tae-soo told his brother that Yeon-hee's sister had run away. Ik-sang's panic was clear. What if she told someone? But Tae-soo just laughed, calm and cold. I'll find her soon enough. Still, the phone was missing. It wasn't at Yeon-hee's house. Ik-sang exploded in anger, shouting, why kill her if you don't even know where the phone is? Suddenly, the hired fighter appeared at the door. What followed was a brutal fight. Tae-soo fought fiercely, but the man was skilled and overpowered him. Just when it seemed Tae-soo would lose, he found strength to strike back, plunging a sharp object deep into the man. Ik-sang was terrified. He ran to his car, but it wouldn't start. Hard pounding, trapped, he watched as Tae-soo ran over to him. Eventually, Tae-soo didn't touch him. Instead, Tae-soo asked quietly, should we have dinner with Mom tonight? That night, the three of them sat down for a scrumptious meal. Tae-soo handed a blood-stained bag of money to their mother. Her eyes lit up with greed and hope. Then Tae-soo asked coldly, do you remember locking me up when I was 7? Because money kept disappearing? He revealed the truth, it was Ik-sang who stole the money, not him. But their mother just pretended not to hear and looked away. Tae-soo walked out, his heart heavy. Back in the village, Bok-soon couldn't sleep. Suddenly, Nari appeared at her doorstep. She asked if she had seen Eun-young, but Nari said no. Bok-soon's heart broke. Then, Nari confessed the terrible truth, Tae-soo killed her sister too. Nari told Bok-soon everything she remembered that horrifying night. Devastation washed over Bok-soon as she realized what had happened. Her sister was gone. Back at Tae-soo's house, Eun-young's body burned in a kiln. Tae-soo killed for a living, and the ashes of his victims were mixed into pottery. Hundreds of vases filled the house, each one holding the silent evidence of his cruelty. Bok-soon turned to Nari, her voice steady but filled with pain. Tell me where Tae-soo lives. I need to get revenge for my sister. Before going, Bok-soon visits an old granny known in the village for strange poisons. The granny handed Bok-soon a small, mysterious substance. Determined, Bok-soon and Nari practiced together, sharpening a knife, preparing themselves for what was to come. They crossed forests and rivers, walking for hours, but Tae-soo's home remained out of sight. When Bok-soon gets annoyed at Nari, she finally broke down, tears flowing freely. I'm sorry. I can't remember where he lives. Bok-soon's anger flared, blaming Nari for her sister's death. But deep down, her kind heart softened. She gently wiped Nari's tears, applied ointment to her scraped hands, and fed her. The two girls clung to each other, crying quietly, unaware that Tae-soo had already found where they were staying. As they walked home, their eyes finally caught the house, Tae-soo's house, standing silent and empty. Bok-soon slipped in through an open window while Nari kept watch outside, trembling with fear. Inside, she crept down to the basement, heart pounding. Hundreds of pottery vases lined the walls, dusty and still. Her eyes caught her sister's name on one, the vase made with Eun-young's ashes. Suddenly, Nari saw Tae-soo's car pull up. Panicked, she hurried to warn Bok-soon, then hid in the shadows. Bok-soon acted fast, slipping poison into Tae-soo's water glass just as he entered the house. But Taesu's sharp eyes caught the open window. He spotted Nari hiding nearby and gave chase. Nari ran into the forest, her heart racing. She buried herself beneath a pile of leaves, hoping to disappear. But Taesu's cold gaze found her. Captured, Nari was dragged back to the house and locked away. Desperately, she begged for her life. "I know where the phone is," she whispered. Taesu coldly called his brother, letting him know that he found the phone. From the window, Bok-soon watched, her heart pounding with fear and anger. She shouted to Nari to run, but it was too late. Taesu returned and took Nari along with him to retrieve the recording once and for all. Luckily, Nari was smart. While trapped, she carefully wrote where they were heading to on a piece of bubblegum paper and hid it where Bok-soon could find it. The moment Bok-soon saw it, she didn't waste a second, running with all her strength to find a taxi. In the car, Nari cried bitter tears, watching a happy family drive by. Taesu's voice cut through the silence, cold and dark. "Don't you want to kill them?" he sneered, hinting that his monstrous nature was born from a childhood without love. Soon, they arrived at a train station locker. Taesu retrieved the phone with the recording and handed it to Ik-sang. Then, with a cruel smile, he suggested they have dinner with their mother again. Ik-sang refused, but Taesu warned, "It's now or never." Frustrated, Taesu punched the car window, cracking the glass. At that moment, Bok-soon appeared, desperately calling for Nari. Hearing her voice, Nari sprinted across the street, but Taesu spotted her immediately. A fierce chase began. They ran as fast as they could, Taesu close behind. In their desperate escape, they caught the attention of some soldiers nearby. The soldiers stepped in to help, buying them precious seconds to keep running. Meanwhile, in the car, Ik-sang watched the shocking footage on the phone. The chairman was brutally beating Yun-hee, promising her money for every slap. It wasn't just a few slaps, it was violent assault, far worse than the chairman admitted. He was no victim. Ik-sang called the chairman, telling him, "I have the phone." Then, coldly, he said to meet him at their mother's restaurant to get it back. Later, Bok-soon and Nari reached the police station, hoping for safety, but it was being relocated. With no other choice, they left, walking through the busy city streets, always looking over their shoulders. Taesu was still hunting them, lurking nearby like a shadow. Suddenly, Bok-soon threw a small tantrum, hunger gnawing at her after all the running. Nari offered to get her some food. But when Nari returned, Bok-soon was nowhere to be found. Fear took hold, and tears welled up in Nari's eyes, imagining the worst. But Bok-soon had only gone to find Nari, worried about her safety. Their fear and care for each other grew into a strong bond, like sisters united by pain. Together, they found a quiet spot, a small toilet, and ate with hunger and gratitude, even licking the plates clean. Bok-soon smiled softly and asked, "Do you want to live with me? I'll cook you good food and send you to school." Just then, Taesu's eyes caught their belongings in a dark alley. But before he could move in, Ik-sang's call stopped him. "Come to Mom's restaurant for drinks," Ik-sang urged. He even asked their mother to tell Taesu how much she missed him, hoping to lure him in. Taesu agreed, unaware that Ik-sang had called the gang to ambush him, planning how to get rid of him once and for all. On their way home, Bok-soon and Nari laughed and talked, finding small moments of joy amid chaos. Suddenly, Taesu appeared again. They spotted a nearby police station and dashed inside. Exhausted, they fell asleep, trusting for once that they were safe. But in the middle of the night, Nari woke up needing to use the bathroom. When she returned, Taesu had already taken Nari away. He left an address behind, and Nari quickly got on a cab and headed over. Later, Taesu arrived at their mother's restaurant, but the air was thick with tension. As they drank, his mother dropped a cruel truth: Taesu wasn't really their son. He had been left outside their door when he was just 5 years old. She said she regretted taking him in because he was a monster, and maybe his real family abandoned him because they knew the truth. Taesu's eyes darkened. He leaned forward and whispered, "I know this is a trap." The men behind him sat too quietly. In a sudden burst of rage, Taesu killed them all. Then, turning to his mother and brother, he said calmly, "We need to talk." Fear twisted their faces. His mother quickly put the blame on Ik-sang. Taesu laughed, a wild, broken sound that echoed in the room. Just then, one gang member was still alive and struck Taesu hard. As they prepare to clean up the chaos, they find Nari in the trunk. They made her a meal, but when she saw the blood-stained cloth, she refused to eat. Later, Ik-sang tried to take Nari away, but their mother said she wanted to raise the girl herself. Back at the restaurant, Taesu suddenly woke up, bruised and bloodied, but filled with a burning hunger for revenge. Knowing now that his family was cold and false, he unleashed brutal attacks. Only Nari remained. Taesu strangled her, his hands tight and merciless. Just then, Bok-soon burst in and stabbed him. But it was too late. Seeing Nari's life hanging by a thread, Bok Soon vowed to end Tae-soo's reign of terror. Though smaller and weaker, she fought with every ounce of strength she had. Blow after blow, she kept going, never giving up. Finally, she defeated him, and silence fell. But the victory came with a heartbreaking cost. Bok Soon picked up Nari's lifeless body, holding her tight, tears streaming down her face. Then, a miracle, Nari's eyes fluttered open. The two girls embraced, happy to see each other alive. Then, the chairman walked in, his face pale with shock at the scene before him. Without a word, he demanded the phone and hurried away, leaving the silence behind. In the days that followed, the news told the heartbreaking story, the stepson who had destroyed his own family in a violent rage. But for Nari and Bok Soon, a new chapter began. They found peace together in the quiet countryside. Bok Soon kept her promise, sending Nari to school and building a simple, happy life for them both. Though scarred by the past, they held on to each other, their bond stronger than ever.